All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing NOS4A2 by Joe Hill. NOS4A2 by Joe Hill came out in 2013. Let's talk about the covers first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. Now this is a horror novel, Horrer novel, not horror novel, but a horror novel. Joe Hill, as we know, is the son of Stephen King. And he's got a great writing career of his own. I like the license plate with the NOS4A2 on it. It's all rusted license plate. Looks old. It's pretty cool, intriguing. On the inside, we have these different illustrations. And I'll get to the illustrations a little bit later in the review to what they mean, but there's a back and a front. And they are different. So what is NOS4A2 even about? Is it about NOS4A2? Is it about Dracula? Is it about vampires? Well, kind of in a way, but not really. That answered none of your questions. So, on the back it says this: "Come to Christmas Land. What would you do for a lifetime pass to a place where every morning is Christmas, and happiness and unhappiness is against the law?" Let me read that again. What would you do for a lifetime pass to a place where every morning is Christmas and unhappiness is against the law? That sounds like a vampire novel. Don't give up on wonder. Don't give up on dreams. We're looking for go-getters who love children and aren't afraid of an adventure. So this is a sign, basically a job, sign for a job. Help wanted at Christmas Land. What does Christmas Land have to do with NOS4A2? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. But anyway, the book starts out, well, before I get to the plot, let me just talk about the writing style, which I noticed in this book a little bit more so than, so I've read and reviewed Horns by Joe Hill on this channel. I've read and reviewed Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill on this planet. And I felt Joe Hill had his kind of own writing style going. I do believe that this one feels much like his father's writing style. I mean, not that I'm not saying that Joe copied it. I'm just saying, as I was reading this, I was like, oh my God, this could really be a Stephen King novel. Just the way that this is laid out and the way that it's written, this really feels like Joe has learned from his father sort of the craft and the style and the pacing and everything. And I actually liked that a lot. I was just like, okay, Joe Hill is really going to be the actual heir to Stephen King and the metaphorical heir to Stephen King, just based off of what I read in here. I liked his writing style a lot more in this book than his previous two that I read and reviewed. Anyway, let's get to the plot. Victoria McQueen. She's a young girl, 10 years old, obsessed with television shows, especially the show Knight Rider. She loves David Hasselhoff. In fact, when she gets on her bike, it's a Raleigh bike. I guess that's a brand of bicycle. She pretends like she's Knight Rider off on missions, just like in the TV show. Just like his father before him, Joe Hill, includes a lot of pop culture references. This opens in 1986 when this girl is 10. And we get to see this, though I loved this book, I will say it bounces back and forth in time a lot from the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s, back, forth. That's kind of a story structure that I'm never really a fan of. I mean, I can understand why Joe Hill was doing it in this style in this book. But that is one thing that you need to be aware of. It does jump back and forth in time. Like, this is when I was a kid, now I'm an adult, now I'm a kid again, now. And then even with the bad guy. So, young Victoria McQueen grows up in your typical abusive household. She's looking for escapism. That's why she loves the Knight Rider show. She's got this uncanny knack of when she's on her little Raleigh bicycle, and she has this knack for finding things like lost jewelry, missing photos, answers to unanswerable questions. She has a knack for finding them. But what happens is she gets on her bike and she rides to this specific bridge, and we'll show you the front of it. So she goes this old rickety covered bridge in New Hampshire. She drives through it, and then as she emerges on the other side, she always emerges, and it seems like just the exact place in time, the exact place and the exact place in time that she wants to be. For instance, early on in the story, not a spoilery, but there's a photo that she loses, and it's an important photo. And she wants to find it, but she has no idea where she lost it. But she has a kind of a vague idea of when and where she might have lost it. But she searched and she can't find it, so she goes on her bike, goes through the tunnel, the bridge, comes out on the other side. She's traveled through time back to when she lost the photo. She kind of retraces what she was doing, and she finds the photo. That's her magical powers. Then we get our second character named Charlie Manx, and he also has kind of a supernatural gift in that he takes kids riding in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith. That's why we got the license plate. The license plate of the Rolls-Royce Wraith is NOS4A2. And the Wraith, it's a cool car. And what he does is mile by mile, as he's driving people around, journey over highways and right straight into Manx's twisted, grim imagination. People are transformed, everyone, into dark, serial killer, grim type ways. It just goes bad. It goes bad. Don't get in the car. Don't get in the Wraith. Also, part of the supernatural abilities of Manx go back to the little job application for Christmas Land, where the Wraith, and that once you get in that car, you slip from reality into an astonishing amusement park called Christmas Land, which is basically, that's it. I mean, it's kind of like your, Victoria McQueen and Charlie Manx's storylines obviously converge in and out throughout this book, throughout time, and the timeline, like I said, bounces back and forth from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, back to the 80s. Manx, this is just the last thing I'll say about the plot. Manx is obsessed with Victoria over the years, and he won't slow down his craziness until he has exacted his revenge on her, and that's basically it. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on, but that's kind of it. It's two supernatural creatures with weird Stephen King-esque, or should I say Joe Hill-esque, crazy supernatural things going on. I like the book a lot. Probably better than Horns and probably better than Heart-Shaped Box. This was much better, much more engaging, despite the bouncing back and forth in time. I really liked it. And there's also a lot of other illustrations in it too. I probably won't ever just be able to find one real quick, but yeah, there's just little illustrations throughout. It tells you what year this chapter is about. It's a good book. It's a nice looking book. Anyway, I'm going to give this a solid, let's do a 9.5 out of 10 just because.